Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today I want to talk about what is going on in New York City, because while the headlines will tell you that $1 million retail theft ring was recently busted up by the NYPD, and District Attorney Alvin Bragg is taking this oh so seriously, prosecuting the leaders of this particular crime ring, in reality, in actuality, nothing could be further from the truth. What this is an example of is the very same policies coming from District Attorney Alvin Bragg and from New York State overall that enable retail theft to go unchecked in the city of New York. Because while you're hearing about the heads, the leaders of this ring getting busted, not a single person, a single individual who actually engaged in the theft, who actually was stealing the stuff, has been arrested or is in jail in relation to this. They've all been released out onto the streets. All they have to do is just find another fencing operation for their stuff. And that's what I want to talk about today. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who signed up over at actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
And remind you that this show is available in podcasting form. Links to the podcast in the description.
And now to a major retail theft bust in Manhattan. The DA says the thieves stole more than $1 million worth of items, hitting stores like Macy's and Walgreens and CVS, and then flipping those products for cash.
So like I said earlier in this video, you ended up in a situation where there was a big bust, $1 million worth of merchandise, and at the center of this bust was a place not called Rihanna's Cosmetics, because my Google is auto-correcting to that constantly, making it more difficult for me to find this information, so to hell with you, Google, for doing that, but Rihanna's Cosmetics, which was a store on 6th Avenue that oftentimes would have stolen merchandise within it from other stores on the very same street. So this was a fencing operation that would have products from places like Ulta, and Ulta was basically right next door.
Well, today, 2 people charged with running a large operation involving more than $1 million in stolen goods. Take a look at this haul. Manhattan prosecutors say there were so many stolen items seized in a Midtown store that it took 450 boxes to cart them away.
Now, as you can see, there's a bunch of different various boxes right there that are all full of stolen goods, but honestly, this doesn't really give you the idea of the scale of this particular problem, because this illegitimate store that lived off of fencing other people's stolen goods and selling them at a profit actually had its own storage locker a block away where many of these goods were found. So this just was an inventory that was on the premises of the brick and mortar store. They had to have a storage facility because they were stealing so much or involved in so much theft that they actually couldn't have it all in one location at the same time.
DA Alvin Bragg saying that Rihanna's Cosmetics, a store on 6th Avenue near Herald Square, was the epicenter of a large fencing ring, stealing items from major retailers and selling them at a profit.
We found hundreds of boxes of stolen items of the types of products you would not find at a beauty store, ranging from designer purses, electronic devices, over-the-counter medications, Lego sets, kitchenware, clothing, and more.
Now, I also want to point out that this is incredibly crucial too, because Rihanna's Cosmetics was supposed to be a discount brick and mortar cosmetic store, but it had a bunch of different various items, and this was likely due to the fact that they weren't just planning on selling this stuff in this particular brick and mortar location. It was also acting as a generalized fencing operation, and again, a lot of those products ended up being found in the storage locker that was a block away, and considering this is 6th Avenue, Herald Square area, this is quite the busy area to be running such a huge fencing operation, and the fact that lawlessness is so out of control that people can steal from Macy's nearby, from across the store kind of famous retailers, and then bring those products right to the store and get paid right away is exactly the heart of the problem. And again, there's only 2 people indicted from this when you had $1 million worth of merch recovered. This place was in business for a long time, selling a bunch of illegitimate merch, and that is supposed to make you feel better. That's supposed to make you feel okay. On top of that, I just want to point out that this store, even though it's closed under that name, has a new sign and has a new storefront, a new design, but in reality, it's the same owners. It's the same store. So the store isn't even shut down as of right now, despite the fact that they just raided them and discovered that they are involved, or they're alleging that they're involved in this elaborate fencing operation. And I find this kind of even more funny because operating a legitimate brick and mortar store is damn near impossible due to all the regulations and citations and whatnot. But apparently, just like everything in the city of New York, once you commit a crime, that gives you some god tier rights. That gives you the ability to rebrand, and nobody's going to ask any questions about that. And honestly, DA Alvin Bragg is only going to indict 2 individuals related to this, leaving the entire infrastructure of the people stealing and bringing stuff to the fencing operation completely unchecked. And I just want to point out for everybody in the audience that retail theft dramatically up since the Black Lives Matter riots. Look at this chart from John J. College of Criminal Justice. You could see that, by the way, this didn't spike during the Great Recession at the beginning of this chart. It spiked here, and dramatically so, due to the fact that we went soft on crime. These people can't be held on bail, and people are getting arrested over and over and over again for stealing from stores, and the same-day automatic release is their reward.
One of the suspects, Aaron Khan, seen here right after a court appearance this afternoon. He's accused of helping to run the ring along with another suspect, Bibi Rahana Khan. The shoplifting investigation, a coordinated effort with retailers.
Approximately $212,000 of the alleged stolen merchandise came from Macy's.
So right there, they have around $1 million of stolen merchandise. $212,000 worth of merchandise is coming from the Macy's. The Macy's that this is coming from is that famous location in downtown Manhattan, the flagship store for this particular company. Macy's is a struggling company, and even their main store, their most famous location, something that on its own is a tourist attraction, ends up getting looted by this one particular individual store based on these people committing theft. And that is not even to mention all the different other various thieves that are going on. And by the way, if you look at this particular area, it is a place where retail space is being completely wiped out. There's for rent signs all over the place, and a lot of these different stores aren't coming back. And one of the reasons why these stores aren't coming back is because even when there are law enforcement busts, they go down exactly like this. 2 people running the store. That's it. Those are the people who are criminally culpable. But all the criminals that are stealing that would take it to another fencing operation tomorrow after this place got busted up, they're out on the streets again. They're still incentivized to do it, and honestly, they're encouraged to do it by people like District Attorney Alvin Bragg. They're portrayed as the victims, when in reality, the real victims are the people who are going to lose their jobs. In reality, the real victims are the people who are losing their merchandise. In reality, the real victims are the average everyday person who has to pay higher prices in order to compensate for all this different various theft in the city of New York, and that disproportionately impacts the poor people who don't disobey the law, who aren't criminals.
According to the Manhattan DA, Rihanna's Cosmetics was a well-known destination to bring shoplifted goods. The store now shut down.
We know that employees are put at risk when retail theft occurs. There have been far too many assaults on hardworking employees who are just trying to do their jobs.
Now, Alvin Bragg right here is saying, hey, look, employees are at risk when people are committing these thefts and all of that. But honestly, this is nonsensical because he allowed this to go unchecked his entire time that he was in office. He paints the picture that they're innocent angel Aladdins. And remember, DA Alvin Bragg was pushing, when he first got into office, for non-carceral solutions for every single crime except for homicide and attempted homicide. See his opening memo when he was sworn in, from the day he was sworn in, if you don't believe me. So he is an enabler of this. So for him to turn around now and say, oh my God, employees are being assaulted. Well, guess what, Bragg? That was true when you took office. That was something that you ignored for years, but now people are absolutely sick of it, so you have to pretend that you're actually engaged in this. But you know what would be nice if you were actually concerned about employees being assaulted over merchandise? If you actually arrested the people on the ground who are doing the stealing and held them accountable for their actions, even when they committed assaults. Because as we've seen repeatedly, DA Alvin Bragg drops charges from felonies more than the previous district attorneys. He gives these people slaps on the wrist. He doesn't want to hold them accountable, doesn't push for jail. He downgrades from felony to misdemeanor, all these different other various tricks, dismisses misdemeanors in order to make sure the criminals are on the streets to reoffend again. So while he's doing this press conference, I will point out once again that only 2 people involved with the storefront are being arrested. Only 2 people involved with the storefront are being indicted, even though this was a multi-million-dollar operation in terms of theft, and those thieves are just going to keep stealing. They're just going to keep looting all these different stores out of business. And it's kind of absurd that that the one store that is thriving in the city of New York in this particular area is the one that's stealing from all the different other various stores. According to authorities, there was so much stolen merchandise, you already heard the number of over $1 million worth, that it actually took 450 plus cardboard boxes in order for them to cart it off into evidence, and all of that resulted, this grand indictment and this press conference, in just 3 charges, 3 counts of possession of stolen property. 3, not 450 boxes worth of counts of possession of stolen property, but 3 counts of it for 2 individuals who happen to be of Indian or Arabic descent because their last name is Khan. They seem to be related in relation to this particular storefront. Those are the only people that are going to be held accountable, and guess what? It's not even that serious. Steal over $1 million and you get 3 counts of possession of stolen property. And I just want to point out that they're enabling a criminal organization. I just want to point out that they've been in business and doing this for a long time. So they've had well over $1 million worth of stuff move through their property, but only 3 counts for 2 individuals. And we're supposed to celebrate this. And people wonder why that line for retail theft keeps going up. I just found out that, by the way, reports of retail theft, things that are reported to the police, not just overall incidents, have hit a record high in the city of New York. And we're also losing population in the city of New York, down from 8.7 million to 8.3 million. So the per capita rates are actually rising faster when you lose that much in terms of population, and the raw number of incident reports are going up. So it's an absolute disaster. It's enabled by DA Alvin Bragg, and do not let him try to celebrate this particular bust when in reality the devil's in the details, and the details show us he's not really charging anyone for anything. But hey, you know what? Those are my thoughts. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about this farce of a retail bust. Till next time.